In this video, I am going to show you how to humanely cull a chicken and have no mess. Just a warning for you folks, this is going to be a graphic video. I feel that it's a part of life. I'm sharing our life here, so I'm going to make it as real as it is because there's no sense trying to hide things. Death is just a part of life. Everything has to die. Some things, sometimes we have to kill an animal due to suffering. I have a chicken who's prolapsed, which usually isn't a life-ending event, but she's done it multiple times and the other chickens have started to peck at her, so she looks like she's in pain, and that's where I end it. The other time we end it is if we have a sick chicken. It's not worth the risk of having disease or respiratory infection take out the rest of my flock just because I want to nurse one bird back to health. So we have a zero tolerance for sick. If it's sick, it goes to a happy place. The goal should be, it should be as quick as possible. It should happen immediately, zero suffering, and it should be clean. When you have to cull 40 chickens, you don't want to have them all out flopping around a chopping block. It's not an efficient way to do it. It's not a clean way to do it. There's feathers everywhere. The way I'm going to do it today is called cervical dislocation. So basically I'm going to hold the chicken, extend her neck out all the way, tip it back, and just give it a pull. This chicken is not looking healthy. She was almost lifeless when I picked her up. But you're going to, if you hold the chicken, you'll notice that the head will stand out. And then you want to, so you're going to, I'm not going to hold it like this, but you're going to pull it straight out as far as it feels comfortable. And then you do a snap back. Now I'm going to show it to you. And this is going to be over, like as soon as that head snaps back, it's painless for this chicken. So I usually hold her right, I'm going to hold her right here. I'm going to grab her head like this with her beak underneath my fingers here so I can have lots of leverage. You extend it all the way and then you snap back. And it's done. Now they do shake a little bit just like when you chop it on a chopping block because it's just nerve endings, but their spinal cord has been severed as well as the blood flow to the brain. So there's nothing. There's no pain. This chicken is dead. So I just want to show you here on the bird. See, that neck has totally been severed. You'll be able to feel right here that there's no spinal cord there. The head is separate. You can pull too hard and sever the head, and then you'll have blood everywhere, and it's a mess. So you want to pull just hard enough. I'll show it again. You want to stretch that neck out. Holding it, I'm going to show it like this. You're going to stretch the neck out and then snap back like that. And you'll feel it pop. You'll feel the head come off the spinal cord and stop there. You don't want to go any further. Like I said, there'll be blood everywhere and gore, and then there's a mess. You don't want to deal with that. 2 years ago, we had 40 pullets that we had raised from chicks. They were just about to lay eggs, but we had purchased a couple older birds from a local farmer just to give us eggs in the meantime, and they were positive for coryza. We didn't know it at the time, but it ended up infecting our entire flock. So I had one of the birds tested because I noticed mucus coming out of its nose. I noticed it sneezing. It was looking sickly, and tested positive for coryza. And the lab suggested that the flock had to be culled just because it's devastating to the local chicken industry if you have infectious respiratory diseases going around. Coryza can be picked up at the feed store off someone other farmer's boots. It can be picked up at your friend's farm. It can be picked up in town, auctions. So whenever you go to a place where there's going to be farmers, where there's going to be hobby farmers, homesteaders, Always be mindful of that, and wash your hands, wash your boots. Don't walk straight in your chicken coop. It's something that can be extremely devastating if you have to call our entire flock and start from scratch. There is another option with this method. It's called the broomstick method. It accomplishes the same thing. It's a little bit easier if you're worried about not being able to pull hard enough and getting it done quick. The only problem with that method is that everyone I see do it, maybe not everyone, but I often see people do it too hard and the head comes off, which kind of defeats the purpose of doing it clean, because now you got blood everywhere, you got a head lying around, and if you're doing multiple chickens, it's not necessary. So I have a volunteer here. She's healthy. She said she would volunteer to show everyone kind of how that method works. So basically, and if you lay them down just like this, they're usually really calm and relaxed. They're kind of confused actually. They're not really sure what you're gonna do. So now you grab your broomstick, or your shovel in this case. You lay it down like so. You step on the shovel, and then you pull the feet. As you can see, it'll do the exact same thing. It'll extend the neck and then snap back. Obviously I'm not stepping on the shovel very hard, as I don't want this chicken. I'm not calling this chicken, I'm just using her as an example. She wasn't very happy about that, but when you're part of a YouTube farm, sometimes you have to volunteer for things you don't want to do, right? So I just thought I was actually editing the video and I forgot to mention that in my clip, so I decided to run back out and add that little piece in there. So